Fred hugged Denny tightly. Right. Thank you. I think I know where Jake might be. An hour later, Fred paced around the outside of Yankee Stadium. The game had just finished, and a crowd in matching hats and jerseys surrounded them. Fred and Quinn scanned the crowd, but they were outnumbered. Quinn refused to let go of Sammy and Denny's hands. She couldn't lose them now either. Just then, a yell of, "Dad?" pierced out over the crowd. Fred turned and searched the crowd again, his eyes frantic now, desperately chasing the voice to his son. "Jake?" Fred yelled again and again, until finally, Jake ran through the crowd in a new ball cap. "Hey, Dad, I thought it was you. What are you guys doing here?" Fred didn't answer. He picked Jake up in a tight hug. He turned around, but everyone could hear Fred sniffling. "Dad, what's wrong?" Jake asked. "Did I do something wrong?" He started to cry. "Hey, kiddo," Fred mumbled. "You didn't do anything wrong. I was just worried about you." "Jake!" Denny and Sammy yelled. When Fred let his son down, the kids rushed up and bear-hugged Jake. "Mom and Fred were really worried about you," Sammy whispered. "I guess we were too." "Gosh, I'm fine. Stop hugging me already," Jake shrugged. Just then, Jake's grandfather, Peter Smith, waded through the crowd over to them with a confused look on his face. "Hey guys, what's all this about? Was there a family dinner tonight I didn't know about? Why did you check Jake out of school without speaking to me first? We thought something awful had happened to him," Fred asked Peter. He tried to remain calm, but Fred's tone was sharp. "What do you mean? I just wanted to spend the day with him. We had a blast," Peter explained. "You have to communicate that to me, Dad. I was so worried about him," Fred snapped. "Oh, come now. I just wanted to spend the day with my grandson. I never get to see him anymore." Fred forced himself to take a calming breath. His father was driving up the walls. "That's fine, Dad. But you can't do it without asking me first, okay?" "All right, I understand," Peter relented. Quinn stepped forward. "Beatrice isn't here, is she?" Peter glared at Quinn. "Of course she's not. Do you think I'd let that awful woman near my home after what I found out about she abused my grandson? I even blocked her calls like the young kids nowadays." Peter nudged Quinn on the shoulder. Quinn shrugged. "No, sorry, I guess I'm just protective of Jake." "We all are," Peter agreed. "Come on, let's go home and have a drink. You look like you could use one, son." Peter pulled Fred forward and patted him on the back. He motioned Quinn forward with his free hand. Peter held his hand out and waved a large cab over. They all climbed inside. When they crossed town and finally entered Peter's massive brownstone, Quinn's kids ran ahead in awe of the space. "Whoa, this place is huge!" Sammy yelled. "Mega huge," Denny agreed. Jake pushed her playfully. "Come on, I'll show you around. Let's have some fun." "Doing what?" Denny bounced from foot to foot, unable to stay still. "I don't know. Want to explore my hiding places?" Jake suggested. "Yeah, let's do it," Denny agreed. The boys ran up the staircase. "Hey, wait up!" Sammy shouted and chased after the boys. Quinn smiled, and her heart was finally at ease now that all the children were back together. "Maybe I should go check on the kids." Quinn looked up the staircase. The children's squeals of delight trickled down to the entryway. "Nah, they're having fun. Let them be kids." Fred grabbed Quinn's hand. Quinn hesitated. She didn't like not having the children in her sight, but she wanted them to feel comfortable at their grandparents' house. Her parents were gone, so Denny and Sammy never had this experience. She wanted them to feel safe exploring. "Come on, they're fine," Fred whispered. Quinn forced a smile and followed the men into the living room. Out on the back patio, Quinn tossed her head back and laughed. She was 2 cocktails down, and Peter's impression of a British accent was the funniest thing she'd heard all week. Again! Quinn asked. But Peter shook his head. He placed his phone on the table in front of them. I need another drink for that. He stood and went inside. Fred tilted his head back and looked at the night sky. I'm so glad Jake is okay, Fred said. Quinn nodded. Me too. Peter's phone vibrated and Fred leaned over to answer, but he paused at the sight of the caller ID. Round 3, Peter announced with 3 new cocktails in his hands. I thought you said you weren't in contact with Beatrice anymore, Fred asked coldly. I'm not, Peter insisted. Fred held up his phone to his father. Then why is she calling you?
Hi, I am Quinn. Want to know my battle? Then download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of A Mother's Battle now.